Hey, welcome, gang. Uh, you are tuning into our replay of Bartolo Colon's 2015 year just for the fun of it. Now, he didn't have a great year, really. His ERA was 4.16 and he was 14 and 13. But the Mets did make it to the World Series and he played a part in that, so I consider that a pretty big success right there. And we're replaying his stats just to see what the deal is. And And right now, as it stands after 24 games, we look closely here and we can see that he's 7-7 in the replay, whereas in actuality he was 10-11. He's pitched 150 innings for us here in the replay. He has a 2.10 ERA. I mean, he's been untouchable. Every time the first two batters get on or the bases are loaded, the next guy hits into a double play and he gets out of the inning somehow, miraculously, constantly. It's happening every game. So those are things that are out of our control. I think it's out of any game's control. What we have to do here is kind of run a second round replay. He's got 11 walks in 24 starts and 93 Ks. Now, in actuality, he had 18 walks. Well, in actuality, he had 4.90 ERA, more than double. They scored a bunch of runs on him, and he gave up many more hits. Not giving up many hits here, and you'll watch and see. Now, he had 18 walks in actuality, and that's pretty close. 7 walks off, and then he had 106 strikeouts in actuality compared to the 93 that he has in the replay, which is off by 13. So not too bad. And we're going to continue. We're playing at Colorado at Coors Field, and we're playing the Rockies. It's John Gray going up against Bartolo Colon and the Mets, 2015 Mets. Leading off, it's going to be Curtis Granderson. Curtis Granderson is going to lead off for the Mets, and I'm pulling up the data from, I'm using on my right, I have a 10-inch iPad, which I use for to keep score of the game. It keeps me everything in order in my brain. And let's see, John Gray, I don't know, John Gray is not in as the pitcher, so for some reason, there he is, he's there now. Okay, so let's get started. This is after, I guess the 20. This would include the 24 starts. I don't remember how I did that. I think after this game, that's where it stands. This is the 24th start, so including the start, that's where it would be. And we haven't done that yet. So anyway, this is a little jumping the gun, right? But I wanted to share that with you guys and whoever is following out there. All right, so I have two. As you can see, I have two different dice towers. One on my right, one on my left. I'll normally go to I'm trying to change up a system a little bit to try to hit with the wild pitches. When there's a run around base, I'm going to go to the right first, and just to remind myself to look, and then to find out on what part of the pitcher's card it is, or rather where it lands on the pitcher's card, and then it translates into where it is on the batter's card. I'm going to be rolling on my left side first. So that's a 6, and it's going to be a tough. So Granderson, 47, a tough, and this is both right-handers, so we're going to be looking on the right side of the cards. Got to remind myself of that too. 47, a tough 47. Look at that, what that is, and that's going to be a line drive base hit for Granderson. So Granderson's on with a single. Now, you see, we're going to go on this side. He has a 30-32, so unless I see that, it's a 66. On Gray's card, so that's a ballpark. So we're gonna look at the ballpark, and we rolled a 64. He's Daniel Murphy's up now, and a 64 is gonna take us into the in-play range. So I'm gonna roll for the in-play result, and that's a 48. In-play 48 is gonna take us into the outs, and that's gonna be a fly ball to 7 to left field. And there is Brandon Barnes playing left field for the Rockies in 2015. Gonna see if there's a wild pitch. No. And that's an 11. Wheelhouse. And Yoenis Cespedes is the batter. And here's the swing, and he drives the ball deep into center field. Back goes the center field Blackman to the wall, to the track, looks up, and that's out of here. 2-run home run by Yoenis Cespedes off John Gray. That's the second home run that Yoenis has hit since he's come to the Mets here in the last couple of weeks. Two-run shot. The Mets are up 2-0 now. And I know that John Gray wishes he had that pitch back. All right, so we're going to go to the right side now, the right guy. And that's a 7. That's tough. A tough 20. A tough 20. It's going to be a strikeout. 2 away. And it's Wilmer Flores. 6. That's tough again. That's a 27. A tough 27 is a drive into the gap, and that's going to roll to the wall, and Blackman gets it in quickly, and it's going to hold Flores to a stand-up double. So it's a double for Flores. So it's a 27. We're going to double check that. 27 off a tough is a double for Flores. And now we're going to look for that double, that wild pitch. We're going to be rolling this side first. 83, so we don't have to worry about that. That's an 8. An 8 is an in-play. An in-play 83 takes us into the out range, and that's going to be a fly ball to center for out number 3. Blackman is there, puts it away. So that was Kelly Johnson flying out to center field. And let's look at the Rockies, the home team's lineup. It's Blackman. Reyes was still a starting shortstop back in 2015. Look at that. And Carlos Gonzalez, the right fielder. Nolan Arenado, the premier third baseman. Here he's only a range B. But, I mean, he is considered the premier third baseman in baseball, I believe. Ben Paulson, I don't think he's around anymore. He's a left-handed hitting first baseman, playing first base and batting fifth. Batting sixth is DJ LeMahieu. Now, he's a good hitter, man. Even back then in 2015, he batted .316 versus lefties, .297 versus righties. Nick Hundley is the catcher. Nick Hundley batting seventh. Batting eighth is Brandon Barnes. I don't know that he's around anymore. He's playing left field. And then you have the pitcher batting card. And that's going to be versus our boy Bartolo, Big Sexy Cologne, 42 years old. In 2015. Now I think he's 40, going to be 46. All right, let's get started. Here's the pitch to Charlie Blackman. That's a 5. So Bartolo, I'll tell you right now, to jinx him or not to jinx him, he's untouchable. Okay, you're gonna see something. This is either the greatest card in the history of mankind, or the rolling. My rolling is crazy. All right, so it's a 5. It's a tough. So that's an advantage. A 68, a tough 68 takes us into the out range. It's a ground ball hit right at Wilmer Flores. He's up with it across the diamond, and that's 1 away. Untouchable, like I said. 3 up, 3 down every time. That's in play. That doesn't matter. In play, which is an advantage for the batter usually. 67, in play 67 takes us to the out range. It's a fly ball, center field, Cespedes. And Cargo's up, left-handed batting right fielder. Had good power back then, hit 40 home runs. Now he can barely muster 15. Don't know what happened to his power. He must have stopped using the peds. I don't know. So it's, let's see, we didn't get this one first. 4, that's a patient 35. That's going to be a walk. So Bartolo walks Gonzalez, and now he's got to face Arenado. See, I'm not going to do it with Bartolo, and I don't do it with Bartolo because he doesn't have any wild pitch section there. It just, I guess, comes off the rare play. So that's a 7. A 7 is in play. A 32, an in-play 32 is a hit, a single, and runner's going to advance 2 bases on that. So the runner advances 2 bases. So Gomez goes to third on the single, first and third now. But this is no trouble for Cologne. He'll get out of this easy. Easy peasy. Ben Paulson, left-hand hitting first baseman. And Paulson hit 11 home runs in over 300 at-bats. Okay, that's a 7. That's in play. So we're going to look down here in play, and that's a 0-8. In play 0-8, and that's going to be a double. What? I jinxed Cologne. A double, runners advance 2 bases, unless Arenado is a 6 or more runner, and he's a 7, so he's going to score from first base. So the game is tied now. Paulson, the left-handed hitting first baseman, strokes a double off Big Sexy, and the game is tied at 2. Okay, pretty tight here the way I'm moving around. I got everything kind of pushed in. All right, it's DJ LeMahieu with Paulson at second base. There's 2 outs, 10, and that's a tough off Cologne. A 10-10, that's a strikeout. So that's the end of the inning, but the Rockies pick up 2 runs on 2 hits and no errors, leave 1 man on base. And at the end of 1, it's the Mets 2 and the Rockies 2. Leading it off for the Mets here in the top of the second is going to be Michael Conforto against John Gray. No, actually, I have it. I have to correct the lineup because I'm looking. I actually have the actual. I can't get it into the camera, but it's here. It's d'Arnaud and then Conforto. So I have to fix go into iScore, put d'Arnaud and then Conforto. So let me quickly go back to the starting lineup. Excuse me. And we're going to switch those 2. It's just very quickly you do that. Done. All right, so we're going to have Travis d'Arnaud, and then it's going to be Michael Conforto, and then the pitcher spot. It's the pitch from Gray. It's an 8. That's in play. And in play 36. In play 36 takes us to the out range, and that's going to be line drive caught by the second baseman, LeMahieu. And it's a 2. It's a ballpark. A ballpark 27 is going to be wheelhouse for Conforto. So against a right-handed pitcher, anything from 1 to 36 is going to be a bomb, and it's going to be long gone out of here. So let's see, 1 to 36, and that's a 95. What a surprise that is. It's a fly ball to deep right field. Carlos Gonzalez to the wall and makes the catch for out number 2. So he just missed that, just got under it a little bit. All right, and here's Cologne. That's a 6. That's tough. That should be a strikeout, and it is. Out number 3. Okay, it's going to be Nick Hundley, the catcher, facing Cologne. And that's a 6. That's in play. In play, that's a cop guy, a 34, and in play 34. And that's going to be a base hit for Nick Hundley. He's on with a single. Wow, first time. First time you've gotten that many hits off Cologne in the first couple of innings. Very unusual. Usually don't get your 3rd hit till the 6th or 7th inning. All right, so Hundley's on at first. I'm going to have to charge myself up here on the right. I get my cord, bring it around. Excuse my arm if it comes up. There we go. All right, so I'm charging. It's going to be Brandon Barnes, a right-handed hitting left fielder. And we're going to see where that is. That's a 7. And on Cologne's car, that's an in play. So far, everything's been in play. 54. So an in play 54 takes us to the out range, and that's going to be a ground ball to third base. This could turn into a double play, but it won't because Brandon Barnes' DP is a 6. That's under the 7. I think that's correct. You want them to be In other words, the 7 is higher. The roll should be lower than the number on his card, the DP range on his card. So it's going to be just a fielder's choice, and it's a 54. What did we say it was? It was a 54. That was a ground ball to the third baseman. So it's going to be a fielder's choice. So 5-4, and I believe that's Murph at third. Danny Murphy goes to Kelly Johnson for the force. Brandon Barnes is at first now with 1 out. And we're going to get a bunt. We're going to pull a bunt from here. The pitch you're bunting is a C. Usually they're a C. We look right here, and the C is a sacrifice hit. It's a successful sacrifice. So John Gray bunts him to second. Sacrifice bunt. We're going to call it a 1-4. So now there's a runner. The go-ahead runner is in scoring position here in the bottom of the second. And that's a 9. That's tough against Blackman. Blackman hit 295 against righties. That's a 57. So a tough 57. Let's see what that is. Oh, it ends at 50. So a 57 is going to be a fly ball left field, and Conforto tracks it down for out number 3. We go to the top of the third. Top of the third is going to bring us Granderson, Murphy, and Cespedes. Cespedes just joined the Mets in the last couple of weeks, which is tremendously exciting because the Mets hadn't been scoring any runs for me at all. So very, very frustrating. So now I understand how important he was to the home run, to the World Series drive. So that's a 10 off Gray. That's tough. And that's a 47. A tough 47 is going to be a line drive base hit for Granderson, the second single of the day for Grandy. The Grandy man can. I'm going to go on this side to 30 to 32. That's a cocked eye. They're both cocked on this, in this case, 60 and 88. A 10, tough 88. Tough 88. It's going to be a ground ball second base, but that's going to be a fielder's choice. 4-6 and 88 is a 4-6, and there's a force at second. So now it's Cespedes. Cespedes homered in his first at bat. I'm going to take a look and see if there's a wild pitch. A 39, that was close. No. And that's a 9. Patient 39. Patient 39 is going to be a hit by pitch. Cespedes gets on, hit by the pitch. Trying to send him a message. After the home run, you get hit by the pitch, right? Okay, so let's see. 30 to 32, it's a 48. Lucas Duda, a 7. That's a tough. So a tough 48 is a strikeout for out number 2. And it's Wilmer Flores. Again, we're looking for the 70. And that's a 7. A 7 is a tough 70. Takes it into the out range, and that's a ground ball second base. He goes a short way to Reyes, and that's out number 3. So we go to the bottom of the third. It's a 2-2 ball game here. It is John Gray versus Bartolo, Big Sexy Cologne, and here it is. It's a 7. That's in play. In play 24. It's going to be a base hit. So Jose Reyes is on. Now, Jose Reyes stole only 8 bases. Whatever happened to his speed? And I'm talking to you, this is 4 years ago. At 32, he stole 8 bases on the year. When he was, taking 30, 40, 50 bases easily. That is interesting how, I was thinking about how a player's physical abilities really diminish so quickly. 1 year you can be just a standout, all-star, on top of the world, and a couple years later you're a has-been. It's just crazy how your physical skills and abilities and reflexes deteriorate just so quickly when you hit the 30s. It's really mind-boggling. Anyway, so Reyes is on at first. It's Carlos Gonzalez, and that's a 6. That's going to be in play. And that's a 37. In play 37 is going to be an out range. And that's going to be lined and caught by Kelly Johnson at second. Nolan Arenado, that's a 9. That's a tough pitch. See what he can do with it. That's a cocked eye right there. And that's a 96. You're not going to be doing much with that. A tough 96 takes us to the out range. That's a fly ball to left field. Conforto's there. And that's going to be out number 2. And now it's Ben Paulson. He's the one who stroked the 2-run double earlier in the first inning to tie the game up after Bartolo started off with that 2-0 lead. So that's a 10. That's a tough pitch, an 88, a tough pitch, 88. And that's a ground ball to Kelly Johnson at second. He's up with it, flips to the first baseman, Lucas Duda, for out number 3. It's coming up for the Mets here in the top of the 4th. Is going to be Kelly Johnson, Travis d'Arnaud, and Michael Conforto. Kelly Johnson's 0 for 1. And on John Gray's card, that's going to be a 5, and that's Patient. Patient 43 is a single for Kelly Johnson. Kelly Johnson on with a single. Travis d'Arnaud, it's a 0. What is that? A 0-3. A 0-3. That's an in-play 0-3. An in-play 0-3 is going to be a double. And let's see what happens with the base runner. Deep drive off the left field wall. Runners advance 2 bases. So that's a double, and they're going to stop Johnson at third base. So second and third, nobody out here. And it's going to be Michael Conforto. Conforto's 0 for 1. He flied out in his first at bat. There, 58. And that's a 7. A tough 58 is going to be a fly ball to left field. And that's not going to be deep enough for anything to happen. And now it's Bart Colon. All we can hope for is a wild pitch. No, it's not going to happen. That's a 9. That's a Patient. A Patient 65. Patient 65 takes us into the out range. And the 65 is going to be a ground ball to second base. The infield's playing in, so we're going to have to look at a chart here. And it says if the total is 7 or more, see the chart below, and we rolled a 9. That's going to be a ball sneaks past the drawn in infield, batter safe, runners advance 1 base. So it's an RBI single for big, you know what? Yeah, RBI single playing in on Colon. Why would they have done that when the odds are that he strikes out? So you know what? We're gonna replay that. And that's the power that we have here as commissioner and gamer and broadcaster. I'm gonna replay that, and if we play the infield back, that's gonna be a ground ball, and there's no chance for a double play. So yeah, you want to play. It's gonna be a single for Cologne. I have to play it that way. Single for Cologne, an RBI single for Cologne. Batter advances 1 base. d'Arnaud goes from second to third, and it's first and third now with 1 out. That's really too bad for John Gray that he actually hit a ground ball there. All right. So let's see if there's a wild pitch. 0-3, and that's a 12 ballpark. Lucky it's not wheelhouse. So that's ballpark. That's going to put him into the wheelhouse range on our next roll. So this could be a shot out of here. 1-32. It's going to be a home run, but 1-53. It's going to be some sort of hit. And it's an 83, and it's in the out range, and that's a fly ball to center field, but that's going to score a run. That's going to be deep enough to score d'Arnaud on a wheelhouse fly. So that's an out. It's a sacrifice fly to center. Runner on third advances, and everybody else holds. Cologne holds it first, and it's Danny Murphy. And that's a 6. That's going to be tough. And a tough 52 takes us to the out range, and that's going to be a fly ball to left. The Mets pick up 2 runs, and they lead it by a score of 4-2. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's going to be DJ LeMahieu leading it off against Cologne. And that's a 10. That's a tough pitch by Cologne. Again, it's a 75, a tough 75 is going to be a fly ball center. Yoenis Cespedes is playing center in this game, and he tracks it down. And that's a 9. That's a tough 15. That's a strikeout. So Nick Hundley down on strikes, and it's Brandon Barnes. He's 0 for 1, hit into a fielder's choice. That's an 8. That's ballpark, a ballpark 40 with a right-hander. That's going to take us into the wheelhouse. A 1-7 is out of here, 51, and that's going to be a line drive and caught by Wilmer Flores. So Barnes lines out to Wilmer Flores, and it's 3 up, 3 down for Big Sexy. Yoenis Cespedes against John Gray. Now, John Gray's fatigue is 6. So once he's done with the 5th inning, we have to pull him unless we're going to bring in a fatigue card, and that in no way, shape, or form is an advantage for anybody. All right, so here goes. It's an 8 in play, an in play 71 on Cespedes' card is a ground ball second base. LeMahieu up with it over to first, 1 down. Lucas Duda, that's a 5. Patient. Patient 06 is base on balls, so Duda's on with a base on balls. Wilmer Flores. Flores is 1 for 2. He doubled and grounded out. That's a 55, a 12, a ballpark 55 on a right-hander. Just misses the wheelhouse range and takes us into the in-play range. So we're going to roll for in-play on Flores. 1 to 25 will be a hit. And that's going to be a 42, so that's outside that. And that's going to be a ground ball to first. It could end up being a double play, but it won't be. It's a ground ball to first, and that's going to move Duda to second base. So Flores advances the runner. There's 2 outs now, and Kelly Johnson's 1 for 2. He flied out and singled. And that's a 78 and a 6, a tough 78. Is a fly ball to center, and Blackman runs it down. That's the 3rd out. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's a 4-2 Met game right now. Colon is on the mound for the Mets, and he's going to be facing the pitcher spot, and we're going to have a pinch hitter, and we're going to look and see who actually pinch hit in this game and kind of make some reason out of it and see if it works for the game. They had Kyle Parker. I like to bring in those characters that you never really heard of. I enjoy doing that. So we're going to bring in a Kyle Parker. See if we have him here. Let's look at the cards. These teams are stacked with cards. There he is. Look at that. He had 100 at-bats, and he's included in the set. Now, I highly recommend Payoff Pitch. It comes with tons of cards. These cards are tremendous. The best cards I've seen on the market. They're gorgeous, just as a collection, to keep them as a collection. They're beautifully cut. They're colorful. I mean, every player is extremely unique. There's no 2 players alike in any way, shape, or form. You never really know what's going to happen. And then you got the lefty-righty, which switches everything up on you. You got your stats at the bottom. You have your speed, your steal, your bunting abilities. I mean, these are really stacked cards. And you get every single player. Look at that. Kyle Parker is going to come. I mean, I don't think any other set would come with a Kyle Parker, outside of buying a Status Pro, from one of the guys that are now making them in their garage, where they actually offer you for $10 you can get the PDF of every single player that played, which is is a cool thing, and that's a great system as well. I mean, all the systems in place are great systems, but just the fact that this set gives you high quality, top of the line, premier level cards, and it includes, it must be 1,350 players. There's other sets out there with 600 players, 700 players, 800 players. I mean, nowadays, to have a modern set, you need to have this number of players because it's so much going on. There's so much substituting and so on. Now, I love playing the 60s. I'll play the 60s just because I don't have to make any substitutions. But I also, every so often, love getting into some modern games and doing these modern replays for a while, and then I kind of get overwhelmed by it all. And then I go into the 60s again, and I do like a Koufax or a Tom Seaver, a 69 Seaver. I want to do a 79 Thurman Munson, the last 10 games before he he died in the plane crash. I'd like to do that, something like that, just as a memorial to him. What a great player! What a great leader. Kyle Parker. I also want to do the 1965 September 9th Koufax perfect game against the Cubs. I want to replay that with the actual lineup, see how close I can get to that. Anyway, all right, Bartolo Colon is going to be facing Kyle Parker. That's an 11. That's defense. So we're going to look at defense. We're going to use our fast action cards. That's a range third base. And Murphy doesn't have very good range. Let's see what we roll here. That's a 46. So a 46. So if he's anything less than a B, that's going to be a hit. And I believe he's less than a B. Let's look. See, I don't write it all down. There's a lot. See, this is a D range. So that's going to be a hit. And what kind of hit is it? We're going to look at, it's an 8 on the other card that I'm looking at. And what kind of hit at third base? It could go into an 8 is going to be a double. So a ball that goes under Murphy's glove down the line, and it's retrieved by Conforto, and the throw to second, and Kyle Parker is safe with a pinch hit double here with no outs in the bottom of the 5th. So Kyle Parker's on second. And it's going to be Charlie Blackmon. It's going to be some action in the Met bullpen. I really started to ramble there, guys. I'm very, very sorry. Okay. So Charlie Blackmon, Bartolo Colon. Let's get everything in order here. Get our house in order. And that's going to be a 7 in play. In play is a 90. In play is a 90. Let's see what happens there. That's in the out range, and that's going to be a ground ball to second base. Parker's going to move to third on that. I mean, unless he's really, really slow, and he's not. So he moves over to third. So now there's a runner at third base with only 1 out. The Mets are going to still play the infield back. They have a 4-2 lead, so they're not really worried about that. They need a tough pitch from Colon, and that's going to be tough. A tough 32, and that's just inside the he's batting left. Oh, no. I look at the right-handed pitcher. 1-32, and that's a strikeout. So Reyes down on strikes. Now, Reyes batted 234 against righties, so highly ineffective against righties. Had a tough year. And you know what? He only had 200 at-bats with Colorado. I think he was then traded to Toronto, I believe. And he played the rest of the year with Toronto. And I saw him in Toronto. He was not happy. I saw him throw some balls away. Oh, man. He took his time, and then he gunned it to first base, and it was in the dirt, and it got by the first baseman. It was not pretty. Anyway, all right, so there's 2 outs now, runner on third, and it's Carlos Gonzalez. That's a 5. That's a tough pitch, a tough 60, and that takes us to the out range. It's a fly ball to left. Conforto. A few steps to his left and makes the catch. Travis d'Arnaud, we're going to have a new pitcher. Let's check and see who we're going to bring in here. A guy named Christian Bergman pitched. Christian Bergman. And if you look at all these pitchers, you must get 20 pitchers here. Let's see. We might not get Bergman. You never know. Every so often you have to look. You have to go into the fringe players, and I don't see Bergman. Oh, I don't see Bergman. Nope, no Bergman. So every so often they get me, and it's not important enough for me to actually go out of my way and print those out right now. Sometimes I have them printed, and I get in the mood. I say, no, I have to have these fringe guys come in. You know, just for the fun of it. They played in this game, so they're going to play. Bergman. So we're not going to go to that right now because we are broadcasting. I don't want to take a long time doing that. I don't want to stop it or anything like that. So the next one is Christian Frederick. Christian Frederick. That sounds about right, saying it that way. And he's a lefty. Let's see. We have a righty coming up, and then we have Conforto. Sure, we'll bring a lefty in. I mean, Conforto's a tough batter. So, all right. So we're going to bring in. I see what I did here. I got to go. You know what? I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay, so I'm going to add a sub. It's going to be Christian Frederick. And I'm going to call him Chris, so I don't have to type in all those. And and he's a lefty. There you go. And he's going to come in there, and he's going to be, there we go. Okay, so he's going to face off against Travis d'Arnaud. And that's a 6. That's a patient 35. Patient 35, and that's going to be a ball that's driven into the gap, and chasing it down is Gonzalez, Blackman, and Gonzalez picks it up and throws it back in, and Travis d'Arnaud's in at second with a double. So, in a 4-2 game, do we walk Michael Conforto and pitch to Colon, but we're going to get a pinch hitter. But, so what, right? And then we're going to get a pinch hitter, and then we're going to have runners on first and second, but we can hit to a double. We can get the double play out of this and get avoid. You know what? We're going to pitch to Conforto. And that's an 8. That's tough pitch. A tough 26 against a lefty. And I don't know if I just checked d'Arnaud. You know what? I may have not looked at the right place on the double. Where was that double? Oh, that. I don't know. I don't think I looked at the right place because it's a lefty now. I got to keep on reminding myself of that. But so be it. It's a 26 now, and an 8 was a tough 26. It's going to be a strikeout. So that's a strikeout. He strikes out Conforto, and we're going to let Colon bat. And that's a 4. That's a ballpark on Colon. A ballpark 35 is going to be a wheelhouse. So a 1 to 23, he's going to get a hit. A 28, that's outside that range. It's popped up to the right side. And the first baseman, Paulson, is there. So that's 2 away now. And it's going to be Curtis Granderson, another lefty. And that's a 5. A 5 is tough. And that's a 56. A tough 56 against a lefty is a strikeout. So we go to the bottom of the 6th now. Go to the bottom of the 6th. And Colon is still in there. Going to go probably one more inning. And that's a 6. That's in play for Nolan Arenado, 83. And in play 83 is a ground ball to short. Flores there throws him out. So Flores has played short, third base, second base, and first base with the Mets, all around the infield. He was signed as a 16-year-old from Venezuela, but now he's gone after 10 years with the Mets. Kind of sad seeing him go. But he would never be an everyday player, and it's, you know, but I think he's the walk-off hit leader for the Mets. The all-time walk-off hits leader for the Mets. You got to double-check that, but I think it is. That's a 7. It's an in-play. Paulson, 64. And in-play 64 takes us to the out range, and that's a fly ball to left. 2 away. LeMahieu next. LeMahieu is 0 for 2. That's a wheelhouse. A 1 to 8 is a home run. That's a 97, so that's way out of the range. And that's going to be a fly ball to left. So that's 3 up, 3 down here. Colon, again, dominant. Allowed only 2 runs, like I told you. Never allows more than 1 or 2 runs a game. He has the best card. I mean, I'll pit Colon right now up against anybody. I don't care. You give me DeGrom. Yeah, he'll outpitch everybody. He'll outduel everybody. All right, Daniel Murphy. And it's still Christian Frederick in there. And that's a 12. That's a wheelhouse. So versus a lefty, it's a 1 to 6 home run. 0-2. That ball's a deep drive to center field. Back goes Blackman to the track, to the wall. Looks up. It's out of here. Daniel Murphy. What? That's not possible. Wheelhouse 0-2. It was 1 to 6 versus lefties. He bats. He hits against a 254 clip against lefties, and he strokes one out of the park. Danny Murphy. All right. Supports Colon's, Colon's 8th victory if he gets it, if he hangs on. All right, so it's Cespedes. Cespedes hit a 2-run shot early in the game, and that's a 9. That's a patient 20 against the lefties, a base on balls. And now it's Duda. We still got the lefty in there, and that's a 9. That's patient again, a patient 16, and that's a base on balls, and that's going to be it. That's going to be all with the righty coming up. And who do we have? Who do we have here? Jesus, I'm fighting with myself. I'm real tight here the way I set this up. I don't know if I'm comfortable doing it this way. All right, we have another pitcher, German. Gonzalez German. And we're going to bring him in, Gonzalez German. If you guys know these guys and know how to pronounce their name, you're probably laughing it up. I do not know how to pronounce these names. It's not German, it's German. And I saw him before, Gonzalez German, I guess they would call him, I don't know. Okay, Wilmer Flores, runners on first and second, nobody out. There is no bunting in my world. I'm in the Madden, the Joe Madden, what do you call it? Army of managers. I don't really believe in the bunt nowadays. He says it's giving away an out. So anyway, we're going to see Germain is 30-33 wild pitch. And 36, just missed the wild pitch. And that's an 8. That's patient. A patient 36. He's a righty now, so we go back to the original side. That's a hit by pitch. So he hits Wilmer. Wilmer's not happy about that. But he's not going to rub it. So we got a lefty, Kelly Johnson. Again, we're going to scroll to see if we got, an 09. So that could be big. See what happens. An 8 patient, 09 patient is a base on balls, an RBI walk for Johnson. Mets lead at 6-2. Infield is in now with nobody out. They want to stop any more runs from scoring. It's 6-2 at this point. And that's a 7, but we're going to check for the wild pitch here. So 7 is going to be a patient. Oh, it's a 30. It is a wild pitch. There it is. Boom. We've been waiting for it, and we got it. And then Lucas Duda is going to score on the wild pitch. Now, that's hilarious. Wild pitch. Oh. Home, wild pitch. And then it doesn't, the funny thing about the way iScore works, and I'd like to show it to you, but I'm going to do that right now, is if there's 3 runners on base and one scores on the wild pitch and the other one's advance, there's no really opportunity that it says advance on same pitch or on same play. It says on the throw. That's what I choose usually. So they don't, because if I hit wild pitch again for the runner on second, it says what happened to the runner on second. And if I put that he went to third, let me put that he went to third. You see, it doesn't held up, error, wild pitch on the throw, ball out of play, advanced by batter. I could do advanced by batter, I guess. Yeah, I could do that. Advanced by batter. That's another one I could do. Okay. So I picked out, by talking it out, I figured out another way of doing this. All right, Travis d'Arnaud. And going to pitch to Travis d'Arnaud. Again, you know what? This is getting ugly now. 7-2, and we're going to walk d'Arnaud. Going to walk d'Arnaud and try to get some sort of double play going here with the bases loaded. We're going to walk d'Arnaud, bases loaded. We're going to pitch to Conforto. Conforto's 0 for 3, flat out and struck out. So he's not having a good day. So let's see. Let's make sure there's no more wild pitches. 56. And that's a 7. Patient 56. Patient 56. And that's going to be a hit by pitch. Conforto is hit by a pitch, and that brings in another run. And Conforto gets an RBI. Wow. All right. 8-2. Crazy. Let's see who else we got here. Tommy Canley used to play on this, or Canley used to play on the Rockies. See if we have him here. Tommy Canley, we should have him. Didn't see him before. There he is, Tommy Canley. He's going to come in. And Tommy Canley is in there now. He had a 4.86 ERA in 36 games, so he was not a dominant pitcher at that time. And we got Cologne in there. We're going to pull Cologne because Cologne is actually over his innings in the replay. If you can see that, he's got 150 innings pitched. And in actuality, he had 145. So it's going to take us about 5 starts to get it to exactly what it is. So we're going to have to pull him after 6 innings. And we're going to get a pinch hitter for, let's see who played in this game for the Mets. I also know who was on the roster by doing this. It was Michael Kadire. So we're going to get Michael Kadire to come and pitch hit for Bartolo Colon, who did a masterful job. And we can actually call this game right after. Once Cologne is done, well, we don't know if Colorado's going to come back, so we should play it a little bit more. But I doubt it. We'll see how many more runs we score. We may just call the game and just call it a win for Bartolo here. All right, so Michael Kadire, I'm going to bring him in. We're going to bring in a new pitcher. We click on the pitcher. Canley, we're going to write in Canley. I'm going to write him as Tom. Canley. Oh, I got to get some. I need to drink something here. I'm choking. All right. Tommy Canley. Spelled that right. He's going to come in. We're not doing any double switches or anything like that right now. I'm not going to worry about that. And Kadire, Michael Kadire, going to pinch hit for Cologne. All right, Canley is 30 to 32. Let's see if there's a wild pitch. Nope. Somebody actually recommended I do that. 9. And that's going to be tough. A tough 82. And he's a righty. A tough 82 takes it to the out range. And that's going to be a fly ball to center. That's not deep enough to get anybody home. Everybody's going to hold up on that. And that's out number 1. All right, it's Curtis Granderson. Curtis Granderson now. 8 to 2. They're going to play the infield back at this point. Kind of almost trying to have a double play. We got to get out of this inning with 1 out. We'll play the infield back. See the wild pitch, 52 no. And that's a cocked eye. And that's a 5. A 5 is a tough 52. Tough 52 is a ground ball up the middle to center field. Runners are going to advance 1 base, and then gives me a question mark. So they're going to just stop. It's going to be an RBI single for Granderson. Everybody moves up 1. Bases are loaded again. Bases are loaded. It's going to be Daniel Murphy with 1 out. That's a 58, a 9. A 9 is a tough 58. It's going to be a ground ball to short. This may be the double play we're waiting for, and it's not going to be because that's a 9. But it is going to be a fielder's choice. But that's going to allow another run to score. A 6-4 fielder's choice. He advances. What happened to the runner that was on second base? He advances. And what happened to the runner that was on first base? Forced out. Yoenis Cespedes, 27. And that's a 5, a tough 27. It's a strikeout. And that's the 3rd out. But the Mets pick up 6 runs here. Man, 6 runs, 10 to 2. You know what? I'm going to call this game. Nick Hundley, maybe we'll play. Let's see. Let's bring in who pitched for the Mets in this game. Let's bring somebody who's really obscure. Who's the most obscure guy that we can find on here? Robles. No, he's not obscure. Clippard. Gil Martin. We should pitch somebody like that never pitched before. That'd be funny to do that. You know what? We're gonna pitch one. We're gonna run 1 more inning, I guess, to see what happens. If unless they score 5 or 6 runs, this game's pretty much over. I'm gonna bring in Robles, I guess. Robles, the right-hander. And I want to show you these cards and how many pitchers I have here. Robles, I try to use every guy. And I have some cards that I cut out myself that are from the PDFs, the fringe player sets. Because these guys, like Carlisle, he pitched 8 innings, and look, there's a card for him. So, I mean, this is tremendous work. Joe, I think it is. Joe is the guy who runs this, and he deserves, support just from the work that he puts into his product. So I'm looking for Robles. I don't know. I may have passed him because I'm babbling, but I'm going to support him 110% because look at the work, and look at the craftsmanship that he puts into his game. I mean, that tells me a lot about his commitment, and he's the greatest in terms of in terms of customer service, man. I email him, and within the day, within the hour, sometimes he's answering back. So he's great at that. He really cares about his customers. Everybody has nice things to say. It's a very popular game system with all the guys that run these broadcasts. It's for a reason. Okay, doesn't mean that the other games aren't great. It's for a reason that so many guys are supporting Joe and his game. So Nick Hundley is going to face Hansel Robles and see what happens here. See how many runs they can score. 7. That's a tough. Now Hansel had a pretty decent year. He played in 57 games, pitched in 57 games, 4-3 with a 368, a 367 ERA. That's a tough 33. A tough 33 against a right-hander is a strikeout. So Robles strikes out Hundley. Brandon Barnes now. 11. That's patient. A patient 84 takes us to the out range, and that's going to be a ground ball to Flores. Over to first. 2 down. And that's a 7. That's tough. A tough 71. Tough 71 is a strikeout. Kyle Parker. Oh, wait a second. Kyle Parker was a pinch hitter. That means that's a pitcher spot. That's the pitcher spot, and we're gonna, and that should be the last pitcher we had there was Canley. So 10-2. Do we let Canley bat at this point? Bottom of the 7th. No, you know what? That wouldn't be right to do that. Okay, wouldn't be right. Let's bring in McBride, Matt McBride. Let's see if he's available. Matt McBride. Nope, not available. He's a fringe player, but I'll tell you, I'm sure he didn't have many at bats. You know what? I'm going through Troy Tulowitzki here, and he joined the Yankees, and he has a chance of making the starting shortstop spot for the Yankees because of Didi Gregorius had a Tommy John surgery. So they don't have a shortstop right now. So it may be Tulowitzki who makes that team. And I love Tulowitzki, man. He was a class act. What a player. But his ability now at 34, I believe he's 34, 35. His abilities have also deteriorated. He hasn't been the same. He's had a lot of heel injuries, and always the same story. Anyway, I got to bring in a pinch hitter. I have no idea who's available here, and I hate doing that because the guy may not even be on the team anymore, and I hate bringing him in, and that drives me loco. So I have another iPad on my left, and what I do with this iPad is I keep this open to, for example, the stats. And I go in there and I keep it open to the stats, and I'll put in, for example, 2015. I'll put in 20. It's going to take a couple seconds here. I'll write in 2015 Colorado Rockies schedule, and I'll look at the game before. And I'll see. I'll look at the game before, and I'll see who their substitutions were. So I'll know that pretty much, unless they substituted the guy on the day of my game, one day after, he should still be on the team. So it makes me feel just a little bit more in touch with the accuracy of the replay. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to go Rockies 2015 schedule, and it's going to bring it up. It's usually Baseball Reference has that. and I pull it up, trying to make these games as historical and these replays as historical as possible, within reason, with my own take on it, of course. There's a subjectivity that goes into all these things. So I know it. I know it. I love it. It's just fun to do. And every so often I like to do these. So different guys can get different takes on what's going on with different, how each of us interpret the game and our hobby a little bit differently and how we do things. And I pick up stuff from other guys all the time. I watch them and I pick up ideas from them, and I like what they do, and it's interesting to me. Maybe it's not right for me, but it's still interesting for me to watch somebody else do it or listen to somebody else do it. Okay, so this is an August 20-something game. So let me go into August here, September. This is an August game. There it is. So they play the Mets. I'm going to get the middle game, the Nice game. I don't know, this may have been that game. Mets at Rockies. Okay. Let's see. And now I'm going to, hopefully this is, okay, Mets at Rockies. All right. So the Rockies, who do they have? Brandon Barnes pinch hit. Ben Paulson pinch hit the following day. So the other guys had to replace him. Garneau is in there to hit Matt McBride. So I can do Garneau or Matt McBride. Did I look for Matt McBride? Was that the guy I couldn't find? Yeah. Okay. So then we're going to use Garneau and although I hate to use the catcher because I try to use them last all the time. So I'm going to go to the following game, next game, and see who the Rockies have. Descalso, Daniel Descalso. All right, hopefully he'll be here. Daniel Descalso. There he is. He will be batting for the pitcher. Wow, that took a while. Too bad I didn't put that on pause. I know David, Baseball Demos, puts that stuff on pause. He's like, I'm going to put this on pause and then I'm going to make a pitching change. I love that about him. But then I have to upload the game, and I don't want to upload the game. I'd rather do it live and make all my mistakes live, I like that feel to it. All right, so we're going to get Descalso, a left-handed hitter. We're going to write him in. Daniel Descalso, he's a lefty. And there's a lot of different guys doing a lot of different things, and they're broadcasting, and that's great. I do one thing. I know Dave does one thing. We both like baseball, and we both do baseball. So I'm a huge fan of his. I watch him as many times as he broadcasts. Other guys do a lot of other interesting things, and they're great too. That's not my interest. Daniel Descalso. All right, so it's Hansel Robles against Daniel Descalso. There's 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. The Mets are up by a score of 10-2. Cologne is due for the win if the Mets hold on. So that's a 4 ballpark. Uh-oh. So we got to roll once, and that's going to be a 0-0. That's going to take us to a rare play. And we rolled a 4, a rare play 4. We have to look. There's nobody on. So a rare play, it's a hit by pitch and injury check, and that's not going to happen. So we're going to make it a hit by pitch. There will be no injury check. We asked him, and he says he feels okay. We're going to take his word for it. So it's Charlie Blackmon. And we check for the wild pitch. No wild pitch, 6. And it's going to be tough, a tough 69. A tough 69 takes us to the out range. That's going to be a ground ball to short. And Flores flips to Johnson for the force. Ground ball 6-4. There we go. And it's going to be Lucas Duda. Lucas Duda for the Mets. He's 0 for 2 today. And we need somebody else coming in for, and who else can pitch for us? Diaz and Castro. Simone Castro. He was on the team at this time, and so was Diaz. Let's see if we can find Diaz and Castro. Those are 2 more players that can pitch. Diaz and Castro. Who else pitched today? Let's see. Betancourt. Let's see if Betancourt's in there. Hopefully that'll be the last pitcher of the day for us, because this is getting crazy. Betancourt. There he is. Rafael Betancourt. He's going to pitch. And I'm going to have to write him. And we're going to call him Rafi. Rafi Betancourt. He's a righty. Rafael Betancourt. And he's going to be facing Lucas Duda. Lucas Duda here in the top of the 8th inning. And that's his 5. That's a tough pitch. He's tough 61 against a righty is an out, and that's going to be a pop-up to Nolan in foul grounds. And I'm using a modifier. You go on, check out that modifier for pop-ups and line drives on the Delphi forum, Sideline Strategy Delphi forum. A lot of great guys on there. Wilmer Flores. Now Wilmer is 1 for 3. That's a 2. That's a ballpark, and that's an 81. He's a righty. 81 is an in play. Wilmer's in play. 58. That's going to be out of range. A 58 is going to be a fly ball to right field. That's 2 away. And it's Kelly Johnson. Johnson's 1 for 3. And that's a 7. That's a tough 36. It's going to be a strikeout. 3 up, 3 down for Betancourt. Now I want to finish my replay today and tomorrow. I have 6 starts left. So they take me about 40 minutes each. I want to, before I go back to work on Monday, I want to finish this up so I can start anew. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do next, but I want to start something else. Okay, so Hansel Robles is still in there for the Mets. So Robles, I'm going to put him in for the offense 9. So Robles, we're writing him into the lineup card. And that's a 7, and that's a tough. This is Jose Reyes. A tough 81 is going to be a ground ball to short. And Wilmer better hurry and the throw, and just in time. Man, Reyes can still hustle down that line. Doesn't steal any more bases, but has good speed when he gets going. And he's been recently cut by the Mets, by the way. He played 2 seasons with the Mets, but he's gone. Carlos Gomez, 1 away. And that's a defensive check, and I'll show you how I do the defense here with the cards. Error 6. Now, my shortstop is Flores. Now, I know he's not that great. 66. It's a error check. So I'm going to look in the error 66. So I'm not going to even have to check him, because it wouldn't be within any of the, if he were the worst fielder in the world, it would still be an out. Okay, so I know there's guys out there writing all this data, but you don't have to write any of the data, because pretty much you hardly use it in the game. So anyway, everybody does their own thing, but that's fine. But I don't write any of the data because I do it that way. So it's an out, and I could look at what kind of out it is, and it's a 5 on my other card. Shortstop 5. It's gonna be a ground ball. Big deal. Ground ball 6-3, and that's gonna be 2 outs now, and Nolan Arenado. And that's a 4. That's ballpark. And that's an 11. That's going to be a deep drive. 1-57 is going to be a deep drive for Nolan Arenado. It's in his wheelhouse, right down the middle. Robles is known for those gopher balls. And that ball's a deep drive to center, and back goes Cespedes to the track, to the wall. It's out of here. Home run, 10-3 now. Home run for Nolan Arenado. So Robles wishes he had that pitch back, that's for sure. And Ben Paulson's 1 for 3, and that's a 5. A patient 41, and that's going to be a line drive base hit for Paulson. Single. LeMahieu, 4, ballpark, 36. He's a righty and was let me see something. Yeah. He's a righty, so a 36, a righty 36 is a wheelhouse. So it's going to be a 1-8 against a righty. So LeMahieu doesn't have that much power, hit only 6 home runs, 5 of which were against righties. And that's going to be a 95. That's way out of range for a home run. That's a fly ball to left. Conforto there puts that away. And we go to the top of the ninth. Top of the ninth. And it's going to be Travis d'Arnaud. Michael Conforto in the pitcher spot. And on the mound is Rafael Betancourt. We call him Rafi for short. 10. That's in play. And in play 20 is a base hit. That's 3 hits for Travis d'Arnaud today. It's a single. Michael Conforto, who's over 3. Gonna see if there's no wild pitches on his card. So that's a 4. That's a tough 18 is a strikeout. And it's Michael Conforto's card is there, but he's not. It's not happening. That's gonna be we're gonna bring in a pinch hitter, and who else pinch hit here? Uribe. I like him. He's a character. He was picked up a late year acquisition by the Mets to kind of. They had a mess going on. I mean, nobody could hit, so they brought Uribe to see if they get some good hacks out of him. Juan Uribe is going to pinch hit for Hansel Robles. Juan Uribe. I don't know where he is. Got to just click on his name, but I got to find his name. Juan Uribe. There he is. Clicked on his name. And here's the pitch. And that's a 10. Runner on first. 10, there's no wild pitch. A 10 is an in-play. An in-play 87. In-play 87 is going to take us to the out range. It's a ground ball to short. And it's going to be a fielder's choice. Reyes flips to LeMahieu for out number 2. 2 out now, and Uribe's on at first. And it's Curtis Granderson. He's 3 for 4, singled 3 times. He sacrificed. He had a sacrifice fly and struck out against Rafael Betancourt. And that's an 82, a 3, a wheelhouse 82. Wheelhouse 82 is going to be a deep drive to center field. Back goes Blackman to the track and makes the running catch. And it's going to be Nick Hundley now leading it off. In the bottom of the ninth, 10-3 ball game. 10-3 ball game. Nick Hundley leading it off. For the Mets, we will see Nick Hundley's coming up, and then it's some righties. We're gonna bring in a righty here. Robles already pitched. Tyler Clippard. He's new to the team. Hasn't been around the whole season now. He's back. He's been recently acquired. It's going to be Tyler Clippard. He's been all over, this guy, Tyler Clippard. He's played with every team in the league. All right, Tyler Clippard. He's going to pitch against Nick Hundley. Here goes. Going to drop them both at one time. Ambidextrous. Boom. 7, that's a tough. And an 88. Tough 88 takes it to the out range, and that's a ground ball to short. The fleet-footed Wilmer Flores up with it, across the diamond. 1 away. Brandon Barnes. 11. That's an in-play 91, an in-play 91. And that's a line drive caught by the shortstop. No, actually, he's a righty. Yes, caught by the shortstop. That's one of the that's the mod that some guys use for pop-ups and lineouts. I mean, you can use it. You don't have to use it. I don't mind. I don't care one way or the other, but I do it just for fun. And then now it's the pitcher spot, and the pitcher was Betancourt. Never put him into the. So it's Betancourt batting, but we're not going to let him bat. And I don't know who we decided was going to. Oh, now we can use Garneau. Game's over now. Going to use Garneau. There he is. Dustin Garneau is going to pinch hit. Gonna write him in. Add sub. Dusty, we can call him Dusty. Dusty Garneau. And he's gonna pinch hit. He's a righty. Dusty Garneau is gonna pinch hit against Tyler Clippard. 2 outs, 10-3 Mets up 11. And that's an in-play 33. And in-play 33 is going to be an out. And that's going to be a ground ball to first baseman Duda. He's going to flip it to Clippard, covering, and they got him. 3-1. I make those up as I go as well. There's not really too many 3-1s. Anyway, that's it, guys. Cologne goes 8-7 now. He goes 8-7 compared to the 10-11 that he was. So actually, we could do this right on camera here, pretty much. I'm going to look at the stats. I'll look at the team pitching stats. See, we'll add it all up here just to see how he compares. So, I didn't add in the win. I got to give him his win. There it is. And then the loss goes to the other kid. He was John Gray gets the loss. And now we're going to go to the Mets team pitching. So, after 20, we're going to add it up here. He went he got the win, so he's going to be 8-7. And then he went 6 innings. He got 156. Now, I'm not adding the second one, but I'll do that in the future. But just doing it for you all. And the ERA, I'm not going to be able to do the ERA. I can do he had one strikeout in this game. No, I'm sorry, he had 3 strikeouts and 1 walk. 3 strikeouts and 1 walk. So that's going to be 12. And 3 strikeouts, 96. Like I said, I mean, the guy never gives up more than 1 or 2 runs in a game. This was proof positive, and I'm going to play another one in a little while. They play the next, let me see, who do they play next? They play the Phillies back-to-back because there's a game where Cologne only comes in for 1 inning, and I'm not replaying that one against Boston. So the Mets play at Philadelphia, and then the Phillies play at Mets in the final 2 games of August 2015. We're going to play those tonight. We're going to set them up. We'll have the Phillies out, so it'll be easy to do. And I already inputted all the names and so forth into iScore. So that's going to be ready to roll, and we'll come back in a couple hours and do that. Take care, guys. Thanks for stopping by and checking us out. And hasta la vista. Mets win it 10-3. Cologne gets his 8th victory. He's 8-7 now.